Hello, readers and listeners. What you're about to hear is the speech I delivered at Shirebrook Town Council's co-option meeting. The speech reflects who I am, my experience, my record, my working class background. Labor's majority heard it, and once again, chose to reject the candidate. I wish the newly co-opted councilors well, but now, without further ado, the speech.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sylwester Zwierzinski, and this is my third attempt in this process. That alone proves I am relentless, which, in my opinion, is a good counselor's quality. I took your criticism of my previous attempts on board and wrote a new speech. Still, there is not much time left in this term of office, so I decided to focus on one issue I want help to solve. Before I tell you what it is, I need to tell you about my experience, so you know I am not coming from nowhere. First, I was a counselor before, so I have direct experience of this role. Second, I have read the standing orders more times than I can count. I even created a computer game to train that skill, so I understand the legal ramifications of this role. Third, during my previous term, I was the only counselor with 100% attendance, and that proves my dedication and strong work ethic. Fourth, during that same term, I helped secure a £5,000 grant for the CCTV system on Market Square, the only grant obtained during the entire term, and that proves I can spot opportunities and deliver results. Fifth, during my last term, BDC denied me any training, so I traveled around the region to observe other councils and learn from them. I also joined a counselor's self-learning group and educated myself by reading national legislation. And that proves I am willing to invest my own time to become a better public servant. Sixth, I hold a superintendent's commendation from South Yorkshire Police, earned by placing myself directly between the most vulnerable members of community and hardened, seasoned criminals. And that proves that when it matters, I do not walk away. Seventh, I enrolled in an Introduction to Local Council Administration course, and that proves I am willing not only to give my own time, but to formally extend my knowledge. 8. I published hundreds of articles about Shirebrook on my blog, while working full-time and serving as a counselor, and that proves I can sustain commitment under pressure. I could speak for an hour about my past experiences, but the only thing I want you to take from this part of my speech is this. I am a driven, keen to learn, working-class man who takes on difficult challenges. I have experience, I am hungry for knowledge, and I have achievements that others would consider impossible. I will be an asset to this council. My life story confirms that. Several months ago, I published an article on my blog titled Shirebrook 2030, setting out a vision of the reforms needed at STC to make it cheaper, more efficient, and more transparent. Some of those plans are already being implemented by newly elected councilors. Others are still waiting for proper consideration. That article alone shows I have the ability to think outside the box and into the future. So, what is this one thing I want to focus on? Ladies and gentlemen, there has been a positive shift in STC's operations recently, but one thing still sits under the radar of STC, crime. My experience will fill that gap. My plan is to focus on crime, antisocial behavior, and the safety of residents. According to published data, Shirebrook is the third most dangerous small town in Derbyshire and 8th overall, with 80 crimes per 1,000 residents. And no one is even talking about it. Maybe because we have bigger problems. Maybe because people are scared to poke that bear. Ladies and gentlemen, I have poked that bear before, and I was successful enough to receive a commendation for my work. I give myself a year to scare the bejesus from those who wish to harm law-abiding residents of our town. I'm running out of time, so now I want to direct my last words to those who plan to vote against me. Ask yourself why you want to vote no. Do you vote against me because I lack experience, achievements, dedication? Or maybe you plan to vote no just because I am working class, a little bit rough on the edges and painfully honest? When you look at me, do you see some criminal who wants to destroy this town? Or someone who worked flat out for years to make this town better, safer, cleaner, more transparent, and more engaged? Let me ask you this. Is your vote driven by care for Shirebrook or something else? If you still want to vote no, I implore you to reconsider. Vote yes, and allow me to fill the gap in current skill set of this council. Thank you very much.